Okay, let me go across to my colleague Amit Mukherjee, who joins us from Ujjain in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. Give us a sense of how MP is voting. It's brisk voting, I think, after West Bengal. Madhya Pradesh, if we talk about today's voting, is voting the highest, Amit. And also, there are, out of the seats going to polls today, at least 3 seats are where are predominantly have a tribal population. What trends are you picking up from there?
Well, yes, Amrit, actually, when the national average so far today has been 40%, Madhya Pradesh has witnessed almost 50% around 1 o'clock. So I would assume that the polling percentage right now is almost around more than 55%. And in fact, people have been coming out and voting in an overwhelming manner right now. But the only thing is that Indore, despite the average has been around 50% around 1 o'clock, Indore has been witnessing slightly lower pace of voting, and the voting percentage has been around 40%. Yes, you rightly pointed out, the tribal districts, the 3 tribal districts are also seeing a huge amount of voting right now. In fact, they are the ones who are leading the entire chart. Now, out of the 8 constituencies that are witnessing polls today in Madhya Pradesh, which are primarily in the western part of Madhya Pradesh, it's the Malwa region. The Devas, Ratlam, these are the ones, they have actually crossed the 50% mark around 1 o'clock. The polling percentage in Ratlam was about 51, while in Devas it was like around 52.5%. So clearly the tribals are out and voting with a lot of, enthusiasm, and I would expect that it would cross around 70-odd% by around 5 o'clock. So I mean, the election.
So does that Amit,
pretty hard?
Does that surpass the 2019 voter turnout if it is above 70%?
Well, Amrit, I wouldn't really go in predicting on the 2019 figures because there's still some time left.
Right.
See, ideally, what happens is like there are the voting pattern is people come out and vote before the lunch time, and after lunch there is a bit of a lull. So again, it picks up around 4 o'clock. So before lunchtime, a lot of people had done the due diligence by casting their vote, which again the time frame I'm talking about is about 1 o'clock. So we'll have to wait, but yes, the target is, because in the morning I was speaking to the Ujjain collector, and he was pretty confident that he would achieve the target. The target is around 75%, which is similar to what it was in 2019 in Ujjain. So I mean, voting has been pretty much good, and the incentives which the election commission had extended to the voters to come out and vote, it seems it's working out well for them.
All right. Madhya Pradesh goes into parliamentary elections just months after it chose its assembly. Is it, when you speak to the voters, and give me segment wise, first time voters, what are they saying, what are the other voters saying, is it a sort of referendum on the state government, how it's performing, or are they voting differently from how they voted on the assembly? I'm not asking, we'll only get to know how people voted, which party they voted for on the 4th of June, but I'm saying, is that the general drift that you see?
I got your point. So yes, Amrit, coming back to your question, the drift which we are getting is from the point of view of how the political parties have been campaigning. Now, if you look at the assembly elections which took place in 2023, a couple of seats had thrown challenges at BJP. Now, these are primarily the tribal seats, which is where both Congress and BJP had been focusing a lot during the campaigns. If you look at how campaigns had picked up around in February itself, Prime Minister had visited those areas and had announced, like, for example, Ratlam. In Ratlam, there's Jhabua is an integral part of Ratlam, which is again a tribal district. So in Jhabua itself, Prime Minister had announced projects to the tune of 7,500 crores. Now, Congress has been reaching out to the tribals in a big way. They have been reiterating whatever they have mentioned in their manifesto, which includes cash dole to people and various other incentives in terms of loan waivers and all. So yeah, the focus is definitely on, and even Congress has the kind of by and large, all these 8 seats which we are witnessing polls on, they have been pretty strongholds of BJP, but definitely after the assembly election there seems to be some sort of a anxiety in a couple of tribal seats, which is why BJP is now focusing on them. So I mean, if you look at the census, I mean, out of 8 again which were won, all of them, I mean, BJP had won all these 8 seats in 2019. One seat is slightly uncertain, which is Ratlam. Again, voting is happening there with a lot of enthusiasm. Ultimately, and in fact, if I just go back again to Ratlam constituency, the Lok Sabha constituency has about 8 assembly constituency in it.
Right.
Now, in the last assembly election, it was 4:4. For both the parties, Congress but where Congress had an edge was they had a slightly higher vote percentage. Now, if they are if they are able to hold on to that, it might spell a slightly different sort of a outcome as far as the overall poll outcome is concerned.
All right. In any case, let's reiterate, Amit, that we are not trying to prejudge or in any way say that this is what it looks like. The voter decides. Even while the voting is on, we'll get to know on the 4th of June. These are just our readings that we as reporters pick up on the ground. Thank you, Amit Mukherjee, for joining me from Ujjain. And to big news which came in this afternoon. India's Central Board of Secondary Education declared